Hey there, fellow classic comic collectors. As always, I'm Scott Harris King, and today, as promised, we got a very special thing. First time I've done a whole video dedicated to the stuff my wife bought at the comic book store. So, if you've seen the previous videos, you know that on Free Comic Book Day, we drove around to 3 different comic shops. In those videos, I've showed you all the cool stuff that I got. I've talked about the stores and some of the cool stuff that we saw. But while I was doing all that stuff, my wife was buying a massive pile of comics. Now, she tends to buy a lot of trades. She really doesn't like the individual issues as much, but she did get a couple and a bunch of trades. So I'm going to show you the stuff from all 3 stores. And then at the end, we got a very special surprise because my wife, for the first time ever, bought a back issue. Okay, technically, at one of the previous stores we were at a couple of weeks ago, she bought a couple things, but they weren't for herself. They were for her brother. Some Teenage Mutant Ninja parody stuff that she knew her brother would like. This is the first time she's bought an actual back issue, so it's very exciting for me anyway. So let me show you all the stuff she got here. We're going to start with her Free Comic Book Day thing. So as I mentioned, it was Free Comic Book Day, but only the first store really had stuff. The second store didn't have anything for Free Comic Book Day, and by the time we got to the third store, they were pretty much out of everything. They only had a few things left, and I got all the stuff they had left, so she didn't bother getting it. But here's what she got at the first store for Free Comic Book Day. We got Marvel Voices, which I appreciate, but also I appreciate that we've gotten Marvel Voices at some previous Free Comic Book Days. So this isn't the first one, so that's cool. She got this cool Star Wars Free Comic Book Day #1, which has this cool split cover that she really liked with Luke and Vader. Here's one called Dying Inside. It said it's by Pete Wentz of Fall Out Boy. I don't think she really cares about that. I think it was more she thought the cover was cool. But I can't, I don't really know exactly. Here's Romeo versus Juliet, a Kill Shakespeare adventure. And that's it for the Free Comic Book Day books. So that's some cool stuff, but she also bought a lot of stuff at the first store, so let me show you what she got. Now, a lot of these, I don't know too much about most of them. Some of them I know the creators or have heard of the series, but a lot of them I'm just not familiar with. So I'm just basically going to show you the stuff, and maybe you can tell me what you know about them. So here's one called Things You Shouldn't Remember, which is about people that wake up when they start getting memories of things that they didn't do or places they haven't been. And there's someone that's trying to keep them from remembering the stuff they shouldn't be remembering. Red Thorn. Here's something from Valiant. Faith. Faith, Hollywood, and Vine. So this is volume 1 of the Faith series from Valiant. The Fiction. Not familiar with that, but it's got a cool cover. My wife does tend to like fantasy stuff, but also there's certain art styles that she really likes. She got Emily the Strange, which is not a lot of merchandise stuff, but I've never seen like comics or stories with Emily, and neither is she, so she wanted to see what it's all about. Here's Ultra from the Luna Brothers, which is has some cool stuff. I remember when this was coming out, like each of the covers is done sort of like a different magazine cover, which I really like that sort of style. And this is done sort of like a movie poster cover, so I dig that. So that's the stuff she got at the first store. Second store, some cool stuff here. So again, she likes the fantasy stuff. Here is More Than Mortal. Volume 1. This is really cool. It's called Ballads, and it's all drawn by Charles Vess, who's amazing. And it's got a bunch of stories by Neil Gaiman, Jeff Smith, Jane Yolen, Charles DeLint, like a bunch of like top authors. And the art inside is just tremendous. Some great artwork here from Charles Vess. It's just like the art is so good. So that's really cool. Here's a Vertigo book I'm not familiar with from J.M. DeMatteis called Mercy. This is one where I think she was drawn to sort of the painterly art style. I think there's some really cool artwork in here. Again, I'm not real familiar with any of these. Like this one, she got solely because she thought the cover looks cool. And the cover is cool. So here's the front cover. It's called Say. And the front cover is cool. But the back cover is really neat. So that was like pure art cover vibes sort of purchase. Here is Anita Blake, Vampire Hunter. Which I've heard of, but I've never read. Again, if any of you know anything about these, let me know, because they're all sort of new to me. And then finally, at the third store, she got these here. I Feel Awful, thanks. Joanna is a Young Witch. And this is done sort of in a very different style from the other ones. Visitations, which is all I know is she's read this already and didn't like it. It has something to do with religion and faith, and she was disappointed in that one. Let's see. Reorganize this a little bit. Okay, sorry. These are a little disorganized. Okay. Ravine now she's a big fan of, I don't know how to pronounce his name exactly, but Stepan Sejic. She's a really big fan of his art. She was frustrated that this is volume 2. They didn't have volume 1. But she likes this guy's art enough that she got it anyway. 2 volumes of Ascender from, is it Lemire, Jeff Lemire, Dustin Wynn. So I've heard of this, but I don't know anything about it. But it's sort of like a science fiction, fantasy sort of thing. Mercy, which I think she really liked the art style on this one. It's another Image book. She does end up getting a lot of Image stuff. And then I mentioned this before, but at That's Entertainment, the third store we went to, they were having a big sale where they had not just dollar bin comics, individual comics, but they had boxes and boxes of trades for $1. So she got some of those here. One called Legendary Tail Spinners. This is from Dynamite. It's hard to beat trades for $1, I gotta say. Effigy. This is from Vertigo. Tim Seeley. I recognize that name. Yes, my wife is very much a sort of Vertigo sort of Image sensibilities. Here's something from Red 5 called Neozoic, which is about how the world would be different if dinosaurs never went extinct. Which is a cool concept. It's a cool cover. And again, it was $1. So, but then she did buy some individual issues here as well. So, let me show the individual issues, and then I'll reveal the back issue she got. Here's one called The Prism. Again, is the art. Great cover. And some really cool, I'm trying to find some cool art on the inside to show, because there is some really cool art here. Don't fully understand what's happening here. Something to do with astronauts and rock music. I'm not really sure, but the art's really cool. The cover is fantastic. Great cover. Here's one called, oh, this is from Chip Zdarsky. It's called The Whisper Queen. I know Chip Zdarsky from Jughead, actually, but I know he's done a lot of different stuff in some very different genres. Here's one called Minor Threats. And it's got a really cool cover. I like the vibe of it. All the, I love yellow covers. Really cool vibe. You can see Patton Oswalt was involved with this. People get really skeptical about like celebrity comic creators. But I think Patton Oswalt is someone who obviously has the cred. Like he's one of us, so I think that's fine. I'm a little more skeptical, but there's people that seem to just come in because they want to get in on the action, whatever they think that action is. But there's other people that, I think Patton Oswalt's proven that he's a hardcore geek like we are. So that looks cool. And here's one she really likes. She's read a couple before. Mirka Andolfo Blasphemous. And I know she really digs the artwork in this series. Definitely has sort of like a manga anime sort of influence. My wife was really big into anime back in the Adult Swim days of the aughts. So like this is oversized. It's like a magazine, so it's interesting. It's an interesting format. I like to have everything in regular comic size, but I appreciate companies that are trying different things to bring in new readers and different audiences. So you can see my wife got a lot of stuff, but she also bought at the second store we went to her first back issue, and it's a cool issue. This is one where she was drawn to the cover, and then we talked a little bit about the issue, and she knew the character. So here it is. It is it's actually a collection. So it's called Marvel Must-Haves. The main thing in it is Truth, Red, White, and Black. So it's reprinting the first appearance of Isaiah Bradley. And it also has a Captain America #1 and Ultimates #1 reprints. But she's mainly interested in it for the cover. And also because we've seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the TV show, where it has a lot of stuff with Isaiah Bradley. So she was interested in the character there. So that's cool. And it's fun for me that my wife has gotten her first back issue, so that's exciting. So that was it. Again, I don't really know a lot about these, and I don't want to, again, speak for my wife so much about why she got some of them. Some of them, again, were creators, like Stepton, I don't know his name, I shouldn't keep saying it. But also, the fantasy vibes, the art styles, some of the character stuff. So, like, a lot of really interesting stuff. She ends up buying a lot of stuff at these comic stores that are very different from me, which I really appreciate, actually. So I'm really curious to see, as she's reading them, she'll tell me about them. So I'm really curious to see what she thinks of this stuff as she's been reading them. But I'd also be curious to see what you think. So let me know what you think of all the stuff down below, and I'll see you next time.